You can order the radiator used in the video on the CarParts.com website via the link in the description. Turn off your vehicle's ignition. Set the parking brake. Pull the hood release handle and open the hood. For safety reasons, we advise you to disconnect the battery. To do so, we recommend watching the video, How to Replace the Dodge Ram 1500 Car Battery. You need to drain the coolant circuit. Get a fluid collection container to collect the coolant that will flow out. On this vehicle, the radiator is equipped with a bleed screw, which you can access from the underside of the vehicle, on the driver's side. Connect a plastic tube to the bleed port to collect the coolant directly in the collection container. You can then unscrew the bleed screw using a ratchet and a 10mm Allen socket to let the coolant flow. To facilitate the flow of coolant, open the cap of the coolant expansion tank. You can use special compressed air tools to effectively bleed your circuit. You can also rinse it with plenty of water to clean out grime from the expansion tank and circuit. Close the bleed screw. Remove the plastic tube.
Hey, it's Alex from CarParts.com. If you enjoyed this video and want to support us, like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, back to work.
Disconnect the radiator fan power connector by pressing the tab and pulling on it. Using a ratchet and a 13mm socket, unscrew the two bolts holding the fan assembly to the radiator. Next, using a pair of adjustable pliers, compress the retaining ring of the coolant hose, which is connected to the radiator. Then remove the hose. You can now remove the fan assembly. Then remove the overflow hose. Before removing the lower hose, place a collection container under it as coolant will flow out. Compress the coolant hose retaining ring located at the bottom of the radiator. Then remove the hose. Then unscrew the two radiator retaining bolts on the engine side using a ratchet and a 13mm socket. Next, using a ratchet and a 10mm socket, unscrew the two bolts holding the air conditioning exchanger on the driver's side. On the passenger side, unscrew the first bolt holding the exchanger to the radiator using a 12mm wrench. Using a ratchet and a 10mm socket, unscrew the bolt holding the metal air conditioning hoses to the radiator. Finish unscrewing the cap by hand. Then unscrew the last retaining bolt using the 12mm wrench. Shift the exchanger on the passenger side to extract the exchanger retaining tab from the radiator. You can now lift the radiator to free the two rubber insulators at the bottom of the radiator and extract it through the top. You can order the radiator used in the video on the CarParts.com website via the link in the description. Retrieve the 4 rubber insulators from the old radiator. Install them on the new radiator. If they look worn, we recommend replacing them with new ones.
If you want to know which tools and parts we use in this video, just check the description and you'll find everything you need.
You can now slide the new radiator into its location. Insert the exchanger retaining tab into the radiator. You can now put the radiator assembly in its final position by inserting the 2 rubber insulators into their slots. Pass the overflow hose between the radiator and the exchanger. Then, screw the 3 exchanger retaining bolts back onto the passenger side radiator. Put the metal bracket back in place on the driver's side. Then, screw the 2 bolts back on. You can now screw the 2 bolts holding the radiator back on. You can now slide the fan assembly onto the radiator. Make sure all attachments are in place on the radiator assembly. Next, screw the 2 retaining bolts back on. Reconnect the fan power connector. Using adjustable pliers or the tool used in the video, put the 2 hoses back in place on the radiator. Reconnect the overflow hose. Reconnect the battery. Now you need to refill the radiator with coolant and purge any air from the circuit. To do this, we recommend that you watch our video, How to Perform a Coolant Flush on a Dodge Ram 1500. The video also shows how to expel air from the circuit when refilling it. Operation complete.